Hi, this is session number 6. Session 6 says, today I want to teach you that readers lodge big ideas in small moments, small details, and objects. So it says, sometimes a small part of a story can have a lasting impact on you. Think of a time when you were reading a story, when you read a part that made you stop and say, wow, or made you sad, or made you think of something in your own life. Today, we're going to think about parts in a story that made us do just that. But we're also going to think about parts in the story that made us want to read on and on and on. Those times when you yell at me and you say, no, Mrs. Evans, when reading time is over and it's time to move on to something else and you just want me to keep going. Remember those times? Seems like so long ago. I miss you guys. So we're going to focus on that today. So focusing in on some of the smaller moments, we're going to zoom in. So this says thinking deeply about important passages in a book. What is significant about this part of the story? So zooming in on something small that the author wants you to focus on. How does this part fit with an earlier part? So how does something that happens in one part connect to something earlier that we've already read? And how does it connect to what the whole story is really about? So zooming in on one specific part, and how does that connect to the whole story? Why might the author have written this in a particular way, including these details or words? So thinking about that's called the author's craft. So why did the author choose to write it in that specific way? Okay. And what is the character learning about life and the world? And what am I learning? Right. So, yes, we're learning a lot about the gold rush, but when the character is having these interactions with other characters, we can be learning life lessons, we can be making connections to our own life and stuff like that. Okay. So, what's the bigger picture here? Okay. So, it says, here's your task for today. So it says Jack and Praiseworthy have survived their long journey by sea around Cape Horn and made it to California. Their journey so far has taught them a lot about life and the world. What has it taught you about life and the world? So you guys just read the chapter about the end of the race, right? We know because we've been studying the gold rush that the journey took like 6 to 8 months, right? That's a long time. That's half a year to even more than half a year being on that ship, right? The passage that the author focuses in on, it stuck with me about like the part about the haircuts, right? When they're on the ship and he's Praiseworthy's giving Jack a haircut, right? And he's saying how he looks so grown up now, right? How it's only been 6 to 8 months, but he's grown like a couple years, right? Things that he's learned, not really grown a couple years, but things that he's learned about life being on that boat, right? He's learned so much about relationships with other people. His relationship has grown with Praiseworthy, right? It kind of makes me think about summer camp. If any of you have gone to a summer camp, if you're only with those people, for a few weeks, but you get to know them so much better than you would someone else over a longer period of time because you're with them all the time, day and night. If it's like a sleepaway camp is what I'm thinking of. So making that connection, right? So think about their journey and think about what it's taught you about life and the world. So what I want you to do is I want you to type that in here. Okay. Think about what it's taught them. Think about what it's taught you. Okay. And do some work on that. Okay. Zooming in on their trip and what it's taught them. And then think about what you can make connections to your own life from their trip. Okay. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to read these 2 pages that describe Jack and Praiseworthy's arrival in San Francisco. So they finally made it after all this time. Okay. And we're going to read these 2 pages that describes what they're seeing and hearing and smelling and all this new stuff that's going on with them that they've never experienced before now that they're in this new place that they've never been before. Okay, so you're going to read these 2 pages. Then on the next slide, you are going to answer this. It says, what are some of the interesting things that Jack and Praiseworthy discovered upon their arrival in San Francisco? So you're going to use the evidence from the text on this page, okay, and then you're going to write about it on this page, okay? So what are some of the things that they discovered once they arrived, okay? So you're going to write that over here, and then you're going to see our little stop sign guy here. Okay, and that'll be your stopping point for today. So the book is now in the second part. So now they have arrived in San Francisco, okay, and I want you to think about a couple of things. I want you to think about, one, are they going to find Cut-Eye Higgins? Remember that he escaped on the boat. Do you think they're ever going to meet up with him again? Two, and doesn't he has Mr. or Dr. Buckby's map, right? So are they ever going to find him to get the map? And then two, do you think they're going to strike it rich? And three, if they do strike it rich, do you think they're going to get home in time to save Aunt Arabella from becoming bankrupt? Because remember, that was the main goal of the whole book, right? Okay, so I just want you to think about some things as we go into part 2 of the book. Because remember, part 1 was the journey. Part 2 is striking it rich. Okay, so we'll see what happens to these two crazy guys now that they have arrived in San Francisco. Okay, so fill out this page, okay, after reading that text, and then that's your stopping point for today. All right, so have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.